Introducing the Paramena Bliss Podcast, a show dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of achieving optimal health naturally as you transition into perimenopause and menopause. Get ready to join your host, Dr. Seth Yates, an experienced naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist, and kinesiologist, as he shares his wealth of knowledge acquired from over 40,000 patient visits and 15 years in working with perimenopausal females. Welcome to the Paramena Bliss Podcast.
But sometimes to be better, you have to be bitter. Hey, this is Doc Yates. Welcome to the Perimental Bliss Podcast, brought to you by perimentalbliss.com. And today I want to discuss all of the benefits of being bitter. Now, you know what? To be fair, I got to rephrase that. Not being bitter, bitters. Bitters. These are digestive bitters. These are things that I use on a regular basis. And right off the bat, I would say of all the formulas that I make in clinic for clients, this is probably the worst tasting of all of them. But despite that, it's the formula I have more people constantly returning for to get more of because the benefits of the bitters is so great. Now, I did not invent the concept of bitters. I have made my own formula, but I did not invent the concept. Bitters have been around for centuries. Thousands of years being used for various purposes, specifically for digestion in many cultures. Even think about some of the most common alcoholic drinks. There is the bitter drinks, and then you have, like, say, for instance, Jägermeister, your Jäger bombs that you did back in college. Jäger is a bitter. It has bitter herbs in it. These drinks were often taken a bitter drink before meals, and then they had more of like a sweet alcohol. Everything was alcohol based, but a sweet drink, like say Zambuca, which is more of like a licorice anise flavor, after meals. And these weren't just done by accident because they wanted to get drunk with every meal. These were designed to improve digestion, and when digestion is off, everything is off. There's a handful of systems in your body that have to be maintained. You need good digestion to have good health. You need good sleep to have good health. There are certain basics, and it's these basic fundamentals that you have to make sure we get addressed to have good health. Bitters is like the king of digestive formulas. So, who would benefit from bitters? If you have any type of digestive issue, and especially if that digestive issue has been getting worse with age. So yes, as you get older and your digestion weakness, just like your muscles kind of get weaker with age, your hormones change and drop with age, your bones get weaker with age, your digestion also gets weaker with age. Now, a lot of times people would use things like digestive enzymes. I prefer people to use bitters because it stimulates your own digestive enzymes. Plus, there's a bunch of other benefits which we're going to go through right now. So the who is people with digestive issues that get, especially if they get worse with age. The when is with meals. Ideally, you're taking this with meals, so you're not just getting the benefits of the bitters, but they're also getting the benefits per that meal so that you improve your digestion and absorption of that meal. The what. What type of digestive issues are we talking about here? So the names and the way that we've classified it, I've been in the naturopathic world in practice 15 years, counting when I started schooling and training and undergrad, oh my goodness, well over 20 years. If you look at the old text, like anyone with digestive issues, it was parasites. And by the time I was in school, anyone with digestive issues was like, you have candida. And now anyone with digestive issues, you have SIBO. The exact same symptoms all the way through, different ways of qualifying it and kind of breaking it down. But guess what? The treatment for all of those issues were almost always the same herbs, the same formulas. Because it worked. It was just, people are always looking for ways to, and even no matter what field you're in, they're always looking for ways to reclassify things to make it more interesting, but it's still the same thing. You have digestive issues, you probably have an imbalance in your bacteria, and you have not producing enough enzymes and probably eating foods that you shouldn't be eating. It's the exact same thing for, centuries. So Candida. Oh, no, the other thing too. Say symptoms like heartburn, GERD, even H. pylori can be treated with these herbs because these herbs are designed. This is the how. They're antimicrobial herbs. So, but the nice thing is they're not so strong like an antibiotic. What will completely wipe out your natural flora, and they're not so strong that you have to worry about things like C. difficile or yeast infections after. In fact, they treat yeast. So if you do have a candida issue, you can use these herbs. If you do have H. pylori, you can use these herbs. If you have SIBO, you can use these herbs. They work great for all of the above. They also work to improve your digestive enzymes. They help improve stomach acid. They help improve the bitter herbs, help stimulate release of bile from your gallbladder. If you still have your gallbladder, hopefully you do. I know a lot of my clients, especially in the perimenopausal age, some of them have lost their gallbladder because the issues weren't worked on properly before. And that's how this all started. So, what do we use in my formula? I use a mixture of bitter herbs and digestive stimulants and what other ones that are called carminatives, which means they kind of help soothe your stomach. And I build it all into one formula for convenience sake. I know this is not the traditional way of doing it, but what I've found in practice is that if you don't make something convenient, people aren't going to do it, and then you get zero benefit. So you could, in theory, make one specific herbal formula for before meals, one for during, one for after, another one that you take right before bed. We use one formula, and it's custom made to use for once with the meal done. So let me list some of them and some of the benefits of these different herbs. So berberis. Berberis which is an extract of Oregon grape. It's in so many formulas, and you see it used for so many things today. The number one thing is that it's antimicrobial. It works really well for stimulating your digestion, stimulating your gallbladder and liver. I see it used a lot of times. People try to sell it into weight loss programs, being like, oh, this is going to make a difference with your insulin levels, and this is going to make you lose weight. That has not been my experience at all, that I've seen people use it and all of a sudden just start losing weight on their own. People are always looking kind of just for that one supplement that could make the difference. And I don't think that is the supplement for when it comes to weight loss. But when it comes to digestion and an antimicrobial effect, and it works really good for fungal issues, berberis is fantastic. We also use trace amounts of wormwood, so we use a very low dose of wormwood. Now, wormwood is one of the most bitter herbs in the entire world. This is not just me just exaggerating. It is one of the most bitter herbs, if not the most bitter herb in the entire world. You look at all of the classic texts, and they talk about two main things with wormwood. One, its antimicrobial effect. It really does a great job of killing off problematic bacteria, yeast, parasites. It kills all of that, and it stimulates your digestion. Like I said, there's an expression which is bitter in the mouth, sweet in the stomach. So bitter for the mouth, sweet for the stomach. And wormwood is the perfect herb that describes that. Bitter for the mouth, sweet for the stomach, because it really does help improve the health of your stomach. Now, I will use some other digestive herbs that aren't as bitter. So in Ayurvedic medicine, they use a lot of ginger. So we do put a ginger extract into our formula, and there's a few reasons for this. A lot of the classic bitter herbs are what we would call cooling herbs. With the stomach, you don't want to use too much cooling. You want to use more of a neutral formula. So we'll use something like ginger to balance the cooling herbs of the bitters. And ginger is also a digestive stimulant commonly used in Ayurvedic medicine. So we use a ginger extract. We'll use a citrus extract, which has been shown to improve the production of digestive enzymes and stomach acid. And you might be thinking, why would I want to improve stomach acid? I already have heartburn in the first place. When you get heartburn that gets worse with age, generally, it's because the food is just sitting there instead of digesting, and actually stimulating your digestive acid will make it better. Now, if it was like a kid with heartburn, that would not be the case. But if it's digestive issues that get worse with age, definitely, I would say the majority of the times, stimulating the stomach acid improves it. We also use a little bit of dandelion root. Dandelion root is also a bit more of a warming effect. and good for stimulating your digestive enzymes, your gallbladder, your bile. And then finally, we'll actually take anise, not star anise, but Pimpinella anisum, and we put that in too. And that is something that people are like, well, why are you putting that in? That's supposed to be after the meals. I've found that you put it all in one formula, people get all the benefits at the same time. So anise in Egyptian herbal medicine, it was called comforter of the bowel. Now, I don't know I can't pronounce the actual Egyptian name, but the translation was comforter of the bowel. It works great for digestive upset, if you're prone to like nausea and indigestion and like cramps and, getting cramps after eating, you got to run to the bathroom. Anise works great for that. So that is all tied into one formula. The secret is out. And finally, there's something called astragalus built into it. Astragalus is used, it's a warming herb as well, and it is used in Chinese medicine to improve the energy to your organs of digestion. So it's a qi tonic for digestion, all built into one formula, and it consistently works well, despite the fact that it consistently tastes bad. So if you were wondering, okay, I've heard about bitters before, what's the deal? I hope this was able to shed some light onto that, the benefits of bitters. And honestly, if you're 40 or over, I think having some bitters that just sits on your table, sits on your dining room table, it's a great conversation starter. You can pass around, watch everybody make their faces of like, ugh, this is awful. But then everyone will be like, wow, that meal didn't sit near as heavy as I expected. Oh, I don't feel any bloating and stuff after. It works great. I hope this was helpful. This is Doc Yates signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paramena Bliss podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit paramenabliss.com for more valuable information on how you can thrive during your transition through perimenopause. Join our community of like-minded women who are dedicated to achieving optimal health naturally, and stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and advice from Dr. Seth Yates. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Paramena Bliss podcast.